So you want to learn trigonometry, eh? Well, there's two things you need to know. First of all, how to label a triangle correctly, and second of all, how to use SOHCAHTOA correctly. We'll start by labeling the triangle. You need a hypotenuse, an adjacent, and an opposite. In a trigonometry question, you will always be given an angle. You can deduce that the longest side will always be the hypotenuse and the other side touching the angle will always be the adjacent, leaving the opposite as the other side. This is where we start talking about SOHCAHTOA. Sin equals opposite over hypotenuse, cos equals adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan equals opposite over adjacent. You will always be given a calculator when doing a GCSE maths trigonometry question, unless it's very apparent that you do not need it. In this example, we are given the angle and we are given the length of AC. We have to work out the length of AB. What's the first thing we do? We label our triangle. Our longest side, which in this instance is labelled as 8 centimeters, is the hypotenuse. The other side touching the angle is the adjacent, and the other one's the opposite. Now we are given the hypotenuse and we have to work out the opposite. So we look at our SOHCAHTOA and we figure out which one includes both the hypotenuse and the opposite. And we can clearly see that it is so, which means that we are using the formula for sin or sine. And that formula is sin x equals O over h. X is our angle, O is our opposite, and h is our hypotenuse. So now let's fit all of these into our formula. So we have sin 32 equals O divided by 8. Now we need to get 8 to the other side. So what do? We times both sides by 8. So now we are given 8 sin 32 equals O. And we can input that into our calculator and get an answer of 4.2. And that is the full question done. But what if we have to work out the angle? Well, in this example, we are asked to calculate the angle QPR. We have to give the answer to one decimal place, and the triangle has already been labelled for us. The first thing we do is we look at our SOHCAHTOA, and we look at which one includes both the opposite and the adjacent. And we can clearly see that it is tan, or TOA. Now the formula for tan is tan x equals O over A. Now we input our values into our formula, and we get tan x equals 5 over 7. Now on your calculator, where it says tan, there should also be an option for tan to the power of -1. That is the inverse tan. Now when working out the angle, you will always use the inverse. Now in this example, we will be using the formula x equals inverse tan and then in parentheses O over A. And if we input our values correctly, we should have x equals inverse tan in parentheses 5 over 7, which gives us an answer of 35.5 degrees. And that is the basics of trigonometry.